Hey everybody, if you've ever had your navigation stuck in one location or lost your communication and have done reboots on the car and it still doesn't work, you may need to reset what's called the Tbox. And this is located inside the car. You need to access the cabin fuse box, take out a fuse to reset it. Today I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm also going to install a bypass switch that will let you reset the fuse very easily without having to take apart the car. So let's get started. This is the layout for the fuse box that's in the cabin area near the driver's seat. There are two fuses that are associated with the Tbox. They are RF52, which is a 15 amp mini fuse, and the other is RF55, which is a 5 amp mini fuse. What I plan to do is take each one of these out and then put them back in after a minute or so and see which one is affecting the navigation on the car. While I have access to the fuse box, I'm going to install this device to make things easier in case it happens again. This is a fuse extension / cutoff, which allows you to turn on and off a fuse. To reset it, you place the fuse in this right here. For example, I can insert the 15 amp mini fuse in here, snap it in place. And what I'll do is I'll route this around so I can position it in a place that I can access it most likely underneath the driver's footwell area, and it's not going to be noticeable unless you really look for it underneath. So I purchased two of these for the two different fuses. I may only need one of them, so it depends on which fuse fixes the navigation. These are the tools that we're going to be using today for this project. I'm using a screwdriver with a T20 bit at the end. I find that this shorter screwdriver works better in tight locations that we're going to be doing today, as opposed to my usual longer screwdriver. We're also possibly need a trim tool for removing anything that you don't want to mark up since it's made of plastic. And finally, I recommend getting a fuse puller. This is designed for the mini fuses that are going to be used in this video. In the Fisker Ocean, there's actually quite a few different types of fuses. I'm actually going to do a full-on fuse box video coming up soon that covers the 4 fuse boxes that are in the Fisker Ocean. But this is what you're going to need to pull out the fuse. So that is something I recommend getting. And that's about it. So we can get started. Here we are inside the car, and this is the driver's seat area. Steering wheel is right here. This area here is where the fuse box is located. We need to remove some trim panels along the side here so we can access a bolt in this area. And then there are 2 bolts on the left and another 2 bolts on the right that we need to remove so we can take off that panel. The first piece we're going to remove is this door threshold trim. Just pull up. There are a number of clips. Just do it slowly. Use the plastic pry bar to help pick it up. And there it is. We'll move this out of the way. To remove this side piece, we are going to have to remove this trim piece that's right next to it. And the easiest way to do that is to pull back the weather stripping here. So if you just gently pull on this, it will come out. And then you can see right here. And then you can pull on this. Unsnap at the top. And then place this aside. Another thing we're going to do is we're going to use this area up here for locating the fuse switch. So I'm going to remove this now. It also just pops off with some clips. And now we have access to this side piece. Just gently pull and it comes right out. I'm just going to put the weather strip back in so things stay out of the way. This is the bolt we need to remove. It's a T20. Now this panel is disconnected from this point, and we have to take out the 2 bolts that are on the left and 2 on the right. Here I have the 2 bolts that are here and here on the left, and then I have 2 more on the right. So let me take this screwdriver, get them out. All right, this whole panel should be loose now. Now I'm ready to access the fuse box underneath. I'm going to start at the top here and just gently pull down on the edge. There are some clips there, just be very careful. There is a wire that's connected to the NFC reader that you may need to disconnect if you want to fully remove this panel. Most people will probably just have this right here and access the fuses. You don't really need to take off this panel altogether, but I'm going to take it off just to show a clear view of the fuse box area. So there is a little tab in here. Just pull that out, and then this whole panel can be removed. Inside this opening is the fuse box. I am going to zoom in here so you can get a better view. The first fuse we're going to pull is RF22. It's on the second row, and it's this 15 amp fuse that's right here. It's 9 down from the top if you're counting. I'm going to use a fuse puller and take it out. Got it inserted. Hopefully I don't knock the camera over. All right, I do have it right here. I'm gonna leave this unplugged for about a minute, and then I'm gonna plug it back in, and then I'm going to start up the car. Now that I have the fuse removed, I'm going to insert the extender with the cutoff switch now. So I just need to insert this to the same location. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is now inserted. I put the fuse in the holder right here. And then I could just put this cap over it to keep it protected. And then at the end, I have an on-off switch. So what I can do is switch this to on. And what I'll do now is start up the car. Gotta wait for the screen to reboot. All right, it looks like the navigation reset worked. I do see the car in its current location and it doesn't appear to be stuck anymore. So I'll verify that by driving around. But in any case, I can finish up with the installation. By the way, if I did need to reset the RF55 fuse, that's located in the right-hand side here. If you see this 5 amp fuse that's on the right side, just pull that one out and reinsert it after a minute. But it appears I didn't need to do that, so I'm going to leave that one as is. I will take the switch cable here, insert it inside, just kind of get all the components in here. And then what I'm going to do is route it straight up. I tried to route the wire through this opening. However, there are 2 small holes here that this is too big to fit through. So what I'm going to have to do is remove these 2 screws right here, pull this out a little bit, and then route it around the right side of this, and then I can have the switch come out through this opening here. Now I just need to unsnap the top section here, and this will be loose. Then I can put this back into place. And then we will have access to this switch anytime we need it. I'm just going to fold it into the empty space right here that's not really used for anything. We will switch this on to test the connection. Place that inside here. And then when you put this cover back on, everything is hidden underneath. If you ever need to reset, you just need to pull this out, turn the switch to off, wait about a minute, and then turn it back on. So this is a super easy location to access. So I have the main trim piece here, and I am going to connect the NFC reader and insert that cable. Snaps into place. Now there's a number of these clips here, and they are facing a downward angle. So what I'm going to do is place this right so this lines up here, and then I'm going to push down and towards the front of the car. Should feel all the snaps go into place. May take a little finesse to get them all in. When it's in place, you'll feel that it is flush along the sides and along the front. And at this point, we can put the lower trim piece in and then insert the 2 screws on the right and the 2 screws on the left. And then finally, the 1 screw that goes in on the side. That will snap into place. And now I am going to insert the screws. All the screws are now in. Last screw goes right on the side here. And now for the side panel, I'm going to remove the weather stripping again to give access. Take this side piece, and this gets inserted into the openings, snaps into place. Now we get this other trim piece. The smaller section goes on the top. Angle it in so it goes into this opening. And then push along here, snaps into place on the side. Then we can push the weather sealing back into place. Once these side pieces are installed, we can now put this one in, and this goes right up on top and then just snaps into place. And now for the last piece, the door threshold. I am going to insert it so that the top here goes into this opening. And then push it down. And it will snap into place all along the base. And it's all done now. Let's test this out. And as you can see, the map is now moving. Before it was stuck in one location in front of the house. I'll do a quick run around the neighborhood. And yes, we have navigation again. All right, so that sums up this video of fixing a navigation that gets stuck at an address. Sometimes it may get stuck at your house. It may be somewhere else. By taking out that fuse, it will reset this system, which is called the Tbox. And specifically, I think it's the ICC component of the Tbox. By putting in the extender switch, I can always turn off that fuse and turn it back on if there's ever an issue. But I hope that they fix this at some point with the software update where I don't need to do that. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.